All right, guys, we're going to talk about American Born Chinese. This is actually chapter 2 after the first chapter of the reading that was done previous. The first chapter you're going to notice is way different than this chapter. This chapter focuses on Jin. He is the main character of the story. But the first chapter is way different, not only in this illustration, but what it's talking about. I want you to think about that word juxtapose, which we learned about already, and I want you to think about how it applies to this story, and specifically when the narrative jumps from one perspective to another. So as we see, chapter 1, this character was not involved, okay? But chapter 2, we're seeing him for the first time. Okay, so we have Jin. He's sitting here in the car, looks like he's crying a little bit, and he has some sort of toy in his hand, and he says, "My mother once told me an old Chinese parable. Long ago, a mother and her son, her young son, lived near a marketplace." And down here we have a little, well, up here we have a little asterisk, and in bold it says the word marketplace, and it says translated from Mandarin Chinese. So whenever we see a word that is in bold face, we know that the mother's actually speaking it in Mandarin Chinese, so it's been translated for us. Every day, when the son played, he pretended to buy and sell sticks he found on the street, haggling over prices with his friends. The mother decided to move. They settled into a house next to a cemetery. Now, when the son played, he burned incense sticks and sang songs to dead ancestors. The mother decided to move again. She found a home across the road from a university. The son now spent all his free time reading books about mathematics, science, and history. The mother and her son stayed there for a long, long time. She finished the story as we pulled up to our new house. My parents arrived in America at the same airport within a week of each other. Ironically, they didn't meet until a year and a half later in the library of San Francisco State University. They were both graduate students. I want you to think about, before we move on for a second, think about why this box is sort of interrupting this frame and why it may be covering some of these characters here. Think about that for a second. You may want to write that down in your notes. For tuition money, my mother worked at a cannery. My father sold wigs door to door. Suave. This guy looks pretty funny. Eventually, my father became an engineer and my mother a librarian. Just before I was born, they moved into an apartment near San Francisco Chinatown. We stayed there for 9 years. There was a group of boys around my age that lived in the same complex. They came over on Saturday mornings to watch cartoons. Our apartment, being on the top floor, had the best reception. "No, Megatron, don't do it!" Afterwards, we would stage epic battles that left our toys smelling like spit. Patak, patak, patoo, patoo, patoo. Pow! I don't know what this kid's saying, but apparently it's some sort of spit flying out of his mouth. But so you can see here they're playing with all their toys, getting spit everywhere. It's kind of gross. Every Sunday, Mother used to visit the Chinese herbalist just around the corner for her allergies. She would always take me along. Sometimes the appointment lasted for what seemed like hours. I would sit in the front room listening to the herbalist's wife calculate bills on her abacus. Look up this word, abacus. And then you can resume the video. Click, clack, click. One Sunday, when business was especially slow and I was especially bored, the herbalist's wife asked, "So, little friend, what do you plan to become when you grow up?" "Well, I want to be a transformer." "Transformer?" "Yeah, a robot in disguise, like this one." He changes into a truck. Click, click, clack. See? More than meets the eye. In the cartoon, he's also got a trailer that magically appears whenever he transforms, but on the toy, it's a separate piece. "So you want to be a transformer, huh?" "Yes, but Mama says that's silly. Little boys don't grow up to be transformers." "Oh, I wouldn't be so sure about that. I'm going to let you in on a secret, little friend. It's easy to become anything you wish, so long as you're willing to forfeit your soul." No text in this one, but we can see he's quite enthralled by what she just said, maybe a little bit upset. Click, clack, click, clack. On the morning after we arrived, with the scent of our old home still lingering in my clothes, I was sent off to Mrs. Greeter's third grade at Mayflower Elementary School. Class, I'd like us all to give a warm Mayflower Elementary welcome to our new friend and classmate, Jing Jang. Jin Wang. Jin Wang! He and his family recently moved to our neighborhood, all the way from China. San Francisco. San Francisco! Yes, Timmy? My mama says Chinese people eat dogs. Now be nice, Timmy. I'm sure Jin doesn't do that. In fact, Jin's family probably stopped doing that sort of thing as soon as they came to the United States. The only other Asian in my class was Susie Nakamura. When the class finally figured out that we weren't related, rumors began to circulate that Susie and I were arranged to be married on her 13th birthday. We avoided each other as much as possible. What the hell is that? Dumplings. Stay away from my dog. Haha, be cool, man. Oh, don't get your panties in a bunch, Greg, little pansy boy. What did you call me? Little pansy boy. What? Nothing. Come on, let's leave Bucktooth alone so we can enjoy Lassie. Haha, Bucktooth. Think about why this name is particularly ironic that this character is saying to Jin. And just look at these three and think about why this may be ironic. About 3 months later, I made my first friend at Mayflower Elementary, Peter Garbinski. He was a 5th grader. Everyone called him Peter the Eater. He introduced himself to me during recess one day. Give me a sandwich and I'll be your best friend. Otherwise, I'll kick your butt and make you eat my boogers. My friendship with Peter developed quickly. We had a number of favorite games. Kill the pill, crack the whip. Just before winter break during my 5th grade year, Peter was in 6th. Peter told me he was going to visit his father in Pennsylvania. The government finally came to its senses, he said. When winter break was over, Peter never came back. 2 months later, Wee Chen arrived. Class, I'd like us all to give a big Mayflower Elementary welcome to your new friend and classmate, Chi Chen Chun. Wee Chen's son. Wee Chen's son. He and his family recently moved to our neighborhood all the way from China. Taiwan. Something made me want to beat him up. I want you to think about why Jin may say that, why he may have that reaction. Sorry to bother you, but you're Chinese, aren't you? You're in America. Speak English. You Chinese person? Yes. So when we see a character talk in these brackets, we've already established that they're speaking a different language. In this case, he's speaking Mandarin Chinese, but it's translated for us in English here so we can understand it. But Jin is getting mad at him for speaking Chinese. He's saying, you're in America, speak English. So he is speaking Chinese here, but as I said, it's in brackets, so it's translated for us, the readers. So you Chinese person? Yes. Be friend? I have enough friends. Sorry, repeat, please. I have enough friends. Who? Them. Oh. What is that? A toy robot. This is very important right here, what just happened. Think about that for a second before you continue moving on. He can change into a robot monkey. My father gave it to me just before I left as a goodbye present. Can I see it? Sure. Over the next few months, Wee Chen became my best friend. If you need to rewind any part of the video to double check some concepts, you can. Make sure that you watch this video in its entirety and then you fill out the form on the WSQ sheet before you move on to the next task, okay? Thank you.